Hey guys, welcome back. I apologize, it's been a couple weeks here. Things have just been pretty busy, but my truck stuff is actually on hold right now. Right now we've got a 2003 Honda Rincon here in the garage. This is actually our farm four-wheeler, which is actually in pretty good shape overall, but it's in need of a little bit of TLC. So we're gonna replace the CV axles, front and rear. You can see these ones, the boots are torn and it's just, you know, it's a 2003, so it's getting a little bit older, but overall the four-wheeler is in really good shape. It just needs a little bit of love. So we're gonna work on that for right now. The truck is back in daily driver status. Put the toolbox back in and everything like that, but we're gonna focus on this four-wheeler here, get it finished up here probably within this week yet. So we'll start digging into this and take it apart. Okay, so the first step is take off the wheels. These are a 17 millimeter, using a 17 deep. Now the wheels are locked, so they will not spin, so it works pretty good. So we're just gonna break them loose and then use a gun to take them off the rest of the way. Now with the wheel off, you can see that these CV axles are held in the same way that they are on our IFS Chevys in the front there. So there's a spline shaft that comes through the actual bearing that comes to a castle nut. So you can see here there's a little pin. Cotter pin needs to be pulled out and the castle nut taken off, and then it'll be free. And then we need to remove the spindle here off of the A-arm from the bottom here to allow this thing to be able to move up and down and be able to get this thing out. So we're gonna go ahead and do that next. That cotter pin was pretty stubborn, but we were able to get it out. So now we can just use a 30 millimeter socket. I believe that's the same on all the larger model Honda four-wheelers. This is a 30 millimeter castle nut, so we're able to get it off. I was actually able to get it off with just the gun itself. So pull that off. Now this should be loose. Now all we have to do is remove this, these bolts right here, and this whole spindle should be able to swivel up and free up the whole CV axle. I said bolts plural, but it's actually just one long one that goes all the way through here. I'm using a 5/16 Allen head right here. I'm sure it's actually metric, but a 5/16 seems to fit tight. And then a 14 millimeter wrench goes on the opposite side there, and just rotate it and pull that loose, and you should be able to pull that bolt out, and this whole thing should be loose. I say with just one long bolt here. Now this whole thing should be able to swivel up and down, like you see there. So to rotate that out, be able to punch this guy out of here. Now that everything's loose, you should be able to just pull this flange right out of here. And it leaves this all free here, so you should be able to rotate this spindle up and free up the CV axle and just let it dangle, and then we'll be able to pull it out from the differential. All right guys, so I was wrong. So I tried just rotating this up and it just didn't have enough clearance to actually get that out. So to combat that, I'm just gonna remove this top bolt here as well, and then this whole spindle will just come off. It'll leave the shock dangling there, and it'll just free up the entire CV axle. Then on this end, it'll have nothing holding it in there. So we're just going to pop this off real quick, and we'll be good to go. Now on this top bolt, the wrench on the nut on this side is actually a 17, not a 14 like the bottom was. Now with the CV loose, basically you just need to put a pry bar right there in that groove between the CV and the diff housing itself. Just kind of pry it loose. I've already done it, but I just used a pry bar there. And at that point, basically just pop it loose, and then it should just be loose to be able to pull it out. And there we go. You can see it's obviously running a little bit dry there. But the boot here itself, and that's the real problem, is the boot's cut open and it just makes all that dry right in there. You're not holding the grease in anymore, so these just need to be replaced. It'd be a pretty easy replacement. The removal isn't too bad, so the replacement shouldn't be too bad either. And that's basically it, guys. It's not really a hard removal. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these ones ordered, and we're gonna go ahead and do the fronts as well while we're here. So we're gonna go ahead and get these ordered. Hopefully we'll be coming in a few days. We'll be able to put this thing back together and get it back to the farm.